You'll never be bored when you try something new. There really is no limit to what you can do. That's from Dr. Seuss, but it actually has an amazing gem in there for us, for all of us who are looking to improve our lives, to go on this self-development journey, to be living our best life. There really is no limit to what you can do. We have unlimited potential. I really do believe that every single one of us, when we're born, have this whole life ahead of us. And I want you to think about that for a moment. Think about what your thoughts are about a really young child, maybe a baby that's just been born, maybe one of your own children or grandchildren, a niece, a nephew, a friend who's had a child. What are your first thoughts about the potential life of that child? And I'll contend that most of us think thoughts about we want them to be happy, we want them to be successful, we want them to have the best life they possibly can. And we think about it as having all of this potential ahead of them. There really is no limits. With the right nurturing, with the right environment, really can do anything. We want them to have that. I'm going to assume that most people aren't coming up with thoughts like, you'll never do that. You're no good at that. This will be terrible. Why bother? Right? It's too hard. I can't. I'll never get the hang of it. We don't say that to a young child. We say, oh, look, you can hardly even hold your head up. Why bother? Can't even walk. Can't even speak yet. We never think those things. And yet, when we go through our life, when we go from being that small child, that baby with unlimited potential, we go through our lives, and maybe in our home environment or our social environment, through school and with our friends, changing from school to work or family or career, somewhere in all of these transitions in life, we start to impose limitations on ourselves. We start to decide that I can't do that. I'm no good at it. It's all too hard. I think about how that applies to my life. And, I really recognized in my own weight loss and self-development journey that I used to apply lots of limits, particularly when it came to movement. So we're going to use that as an example today. This idea that I'm too tired, I don't have the energy, or I don't have time, or I can't afford to go to the gym or buy that equipment or buy some new shoes. So I made all these limitations about what I could and couldn't do. What I realize now is that whenever we self-impose these limitations, it doesn't move us forward. It only keeps us stuck. It's the reasons why we can't achieve our dreams. But they're also totally arbitrary. They're just something we've decided is true. And so as we go through this discussion today, and you think about, is there any place where you've imposed a limit on your life? Where you've decided there's something you can't do, or you can't have, or it's too much, or it's too hard, or that you'll never. Maybe you've decided that you don't have the time, the finances, the energy. Really want you to question those, look at them now. And ask yourself, does this keep me moving towards the life I want? Or does it keep me stuck in my past, in maintaining the status quo? Does it stop me from achieving the life I want? And if it does, I really encourage you to change on purpose, to decide instead, well, what could I do? What could I be thinking and believing that does move me to the life I want, that does move me towards the experience of my life that I want? Does it lead me to my best life and the highest version of myself? And of course, once you recognize that you have accepted something as true in the past, perhaps even one of these limits, do you know you can make the simple decision? You can decide to change your mind about that. Now, Some of you might be having some resistance to that coming out and going, I don't know, it doesn't sound very good to me. I don't think I could. That's all well enough for you. And if you're having resistance come up, good. It's really identifying, highlighting that there is a limiting belief there for you. I want to give you this advice to try and help you break through it. You can ask yourself things like, what if? This is a wonderful question, because you don't have to go all the way from going, I can't to I can, but it can partly put a little wedge into that barrier. It can start to be the crack in the dam that's holding you back, right, of all of your potential. So what if I could do it? What if I did enjoy it? What could I do if I didn't have these limits? Sometimes just playing around, just practicing in your mind, just thinking about, well, what if I just decided not to have that limit? What if it wasn't true for me? What could I do? What can I do? If I use movement as an example, because that was the biggest limit in my life. I used to think I hated exercise. I couldn't do it. I tried every excuse in the sun to get out of it. And it's just not true. I just decided that I didn't like being overweight and it was uncomfortable and it was hard. But as I've gone on, as I've learned to change my habits, as I started to move more, I've realized that I can, that I love it, that it brings a great pleasure into my life now. And so many doors have opened. I've been able to do so many things that I never thought I could. When I started my weight loss journey, I couldn't walk around the block without getting puffed. I really thought that first one around the block was going to kill me. I needed to sit down before I could go up the stairs into my house at the time. It's so amazing to me now that I've done so many other things. I've done fun runs and walks and treks and bushwalking. A couple of years ago, my mother and I, we trekked Kokoda. And I just never thought that would be something that was possible for me in my life. And yet here it is, where it's now just something I could do. Something I have done. And I want you to have that experience of breaking through this idea that the only limit is really the one we set for ourselves. So if it comes to movement, maybe think about, what did you used to do when you were younger, in your childhood? What was fun then? What have you always been interested in trying out, or wondering if you could, or what that would be like? What if you dropped all the reasons why you can't and just gave it a go, took that first step, had a little try? Ask yourself, what if it would be fun to achieve my best life? What if it would be fun to actually do this thing? And when I asked you in our workshops this week, you came up with lots of ideas of how to make it fun. You said things like making it social, teaming up with others, doing a walk and talk, getting together with friends, because there's something strange about involving the kids or friends or family members and just deciding that's a social event that you're doing something physical at. It doesn't feel like exercise anymore. It doesn't feel like something we have to do, like a chore, or we should. We're just experiencing our lives. We're making connections. We're having fun along the way. So how could you make it more social? Or could you incorporate it into things you're already doing in your work life or in your home life? Can you make it fun? Can you make a game out of it? Now, of course, there's lots of technology that can help you there. Things like the Wii Fit from years past, Pokemon Go, lots of apps and ideas where you can get out there and make a game of it. You can apply the augmented reality or virtual reality over the world, or you can do it in front of a screen. Lots of people told me about watching Game of Thrones on the treadmill. I know, maybe getting in the action, moving, makes you feel like you're more in the action. So there's always things we can do, putting on a screen, putting on music, that acts as a distraction from the fact that it's a chore. Listen to audiobooks, listen to podcasts, These are fantastic things to do when you're moving. That's what I like to do when I'm out and about. I always like to be listening to podcasts. So can you gamify it? Can you, on your walk, can you decide where are the nice houses? Which houses have dogs? How many models of a particular car in the street? Or you make it about an achievement. How many reps can I do? How many blocks can I walk? How fast can I go? What's my time? Can I improve that time a little bit? Can I go a bit further? Can I lift a bit more? All of these sorts of things can really gamify it and make it a challenge. Now, our brain loves seeing ourselves achieve, like actually hitting those milestones, hitting those PBs, and sets off those little dopamine hits in our brain and serotonin to get these ideas of like, yeah, I'm achieving, I'm doing something, and it feels good. It's going to improve your mood, no doubt about it. Lastly, can you try something new? Can you get out of your comfort zone on purpose? And because the truth is, for all of you, and I hear you, there might be some of you out there going, I don't like it. Nothing's fun about it. It's hard and it's comfortable. I don't want to. I know that because that used to be me. And if there's nothing you like, that just means you haven't tried enough things. So I'm going to urge you to get out of that comfort zone and try something new and get into the unfamiliar. It's where all of our growth happens. Remember, what if you could? What if it was easy? What if it was fun? Brian Tracy says, you'll only grow if you're willing to feel awkward and be uncomfortable when you try something new. Feel awkward, be uncomfortable. Yep, sounds like the first type of time doing any activity I've ever tried in my life. So we have to be willing to do that. And the truth is, you have to be willing to give things a bit of a go. Now, the first time you do it, your very first PT session, you might be a little sore the day after. Hopefully not in pain, but just sore. That good kind of sore that I really earned it. But you have to be willing to be uncomfortable. You have to be willing to feel awkward. And you have to be willing to give it a couple of goes. Now, the truth is, if you've tried 6 times, if you've gone to a gym class 6 times, or you've tried surfing 6 times, or you've been rock climbing, or you've been bushwalking, or you've tried Tai Chi, give it a few goes, because our brain likes, with the repetition, you get easier, you're not so overwhelmed, and your brain has a chance to go, actually, am I enjoying this? It gets past the awkwardness, it gets past the discomfort. And then, of course, after half a dozen times or so, 6 times, you hate it. Okay, stop doing that thing, right? It's not about, movement should never be about punishing ourselves or making ourselves feel bad. It's just, okay, that's not a thing I like. What else? What else? What else? What else? How many things could you try? So many thousands of activities out there. So if you're in the I don't like it camp, my advice to you is try something new. Remember to ask what if. Break those limits. You can always set those limits aside. Your potential is limitless. And not just in movement, but also with food and with your mindset and with your career and with your finances, with all of these goals. All of our abundance, all of our happiness, all of our joy, all of our wisdom is all there, available to us all of the time. It is within us. We have amazing, unlimited potential. The only thing that holds us back is the limits we impose upon ourselves. So I'd love to hear from you in the comments some examples of what do you do to make activities fun, to make movement fun, for instance? And what new approaches or new activities would you be willing to commit to and actually try? What things are you trying that's new and different? Where are you feeling awkward and uncomfortable at the moment? I really want to hear in the comments. I want to see what you're doing, because this is the path to growth. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you get notified of every new video that comes up. Or of course, if you're watching on my video blog, sign up to my email newsletter. I send out one every week, linking to the new video and also sharing other hints and tips along the way. So sign up to get the help. I'll leave you with this thought, and it's another Brian Tracy quote. Learn something new. Try something different, and you will convince yourself that you have no limits. If you want more help transitioning into the life that you want to be living, rather than the life that you have, then remember, you can always sign up for a free exploratory coaching session with me on my website. Go to livemorelife.com.au and click on Free Exploratory Session. Fill in the form and I'll be in touch to help you out. Talk to you soon.